And here we go, set for more action. Like to welcome back some of the fans of the Extreme Hockey. I recognize this roster this morning. First game here, we'd like to welcome everyone back to our stream. Here's the Extreme Hockey. They are 0-1, take on the Riptide Black, who are currently 1-0. And here come the Riptide into the zone. Shot to the middle doesn't go. Extreme Hockey playing with a bit of fire now as Button circles around in the corner. Brought out, it's stomped in by Call. In the corner now, it's brought out, taken by Stevenson. Stevenson to the net, doesn't go. Here the high slot. DeRoche trying to get a shot on it. A nice save made there. Extreme Hockey back with it. They'll throw this one out of the zone. It's taken by Call as he'll go into the zone now onside. Jamie Call moving in the corner. Pressure from Button as they go into the corner. Logan Button, he takes over. Sends it out to the middle, still jabbing away at it. Goes up high. Here's Bradley skating in. Couldn't quite get the shot off. Moved across. Getting out of the zone is Jefford. Back into, along into some neutral ice. Brought back by the Riptide Black defenseman. Looks to be Patterson that's going against the board at a collision as the Riptide players making a change. Here the puck's going to go to some wide open ice on the near side. Kenny moves up for the Extreme Hockey. Kenny into the zone, losing balance. Almost turning it over. It's finally brought up by Callaghan as he goes up through center. Here's Emmett Callaghan moving in. He's all alone. The shot. What a save. In the net there by Bastarash. A huge stop as Kenny enters in, but he's offside. At neutral ice, it's found up in the middle. At the line, they just stay onside. Here's Pittman trying to circle wide. Caught in the zone again. A nice little move here from Norris as he gets into the zone. Norris cutting wide, has a bit of pressure that he shook off from DeRoche. And trying to throw it out in front. Mason Woods standing tall in net for the Riptide Black. Here Norris still trying to find it in between a couple feet, taken out by Beck. Here comes Beck, has a man with him. Beck moving in and couldn't quite see Dwaron. Here he is with it now. Dwaron moving in, trying to center that one up. In between a couple feet, Dwaron the shot, a nice save in between the pipes here from Anthony Bastarash. So two big saves coming up for the netminder with an amazing pad and glove setup, might I add. The green and white looking beautiful on him. And here the Riptide Black, a beautiful pass to the middle that one just slid off the tape of DeRoche. Extreme Hockey back the other way, might try to spring a man. Here walking in, Kenny just couldn't outspeed his man. There's a pass that's intercepted. Extreme Hockey member had fallen down. Now this could be a break. Here's Kennedy. Was dangerous in game one. Kennedy hits the brakes. Goes to the middle. And the shot on Woods, I believe, just hit the side of the net. Well, a close chance. There's Bussey keeping it in. I'm sure the number 67 did not get chosen by a random draw. And here's the Riptide Black in the zone. Bradley moving in. We have a delayed penalty, it looks like, or offside. They're still offside. They've been a delayed offside for a solid 20 seconds. Linesman probably tired of of having his arm in the air as Bradley walks down the left side. Bradley, the shot, Bastrash the save and the rebound off the post. Bastrash still down, the puck still loose. Where is it? It's in the corner as the Xtreme Hockey look to bring it out. There's a shot put towards the net that doesn't go. Goes up high to the ringette line. Bradley put to the net. Got caught up in the feet of Smith. Out in front of the slot again. It's loose on the side of the net. They score! So the Riptide Black, they're back on the board. So the Riptide Black are up to a early 1-0 lead. It's just a jam up in front of Bastrash. Caused him to be unable to see it. He was down in desperation and couldn't do much from there. Xtreme Hockey back through center. Moving up was Jefford, taken by Stevenson. They're Dwaron, excuse me. Here's Marshall Dwaron moving up with speed, cutting in, and he couldn't get the shot off. In behind, Perry trying to go to the net. Had it poke checked and they went to the corner. Some players falling right in the high slot. More players falling. Perry trying to go to the net. Just unable to get a shot off. Riptide Black doing a great job in the offensive zone thus far. Waron still trucking through. Little odd man rush in the slot. They score! And that was either Dwaron or DeRoche waiting right in the middle, making it now 2-0. Now a 2-0 lead as it's sent back over the Xtreme Hockey. Kaladkar skating back with it, rotating back in his zone. Moving in, shot it out, blocked by Call. Call trying to wind in, and he swept away. The puck's under Kaladkar, who is on his two knees and dives for it. Oh, that's a big collision against the boards. May have been self-team inflicted. Cleared in. Bussy, number 6-7, going up against the boards. Blocked in along the red line. And the pass to the middle intercepted. Skating in, there's a soft little pass there from McKinnon. Now McKinnon waiting out in front. Now goes in the corner. McKinnon out in front. Blocked by Bussy. As he now sends it against the boards. Banked loose to the middle. This puck will find its way outside the zone and go all the way down the ice. And just barely will go for icing. There's Sampson with a poke check. Taken away, Patterson. Throwing it away as it'll go up top to the blue line. And Callaghan the shot on net, but he's in offside. So still going to be 2-0 Riptide, getting down to the last little bit of the first. Here the puck's tied up at center. Riptide Black, they bring it in. Moving, Cody with a shot. Bastarash says no. Now right up in the blue paint. Almost brought out. There's Day. A little spinorama. Trying to get out of the zone. It's kicked away. A nice little move as Jefford trying to get out. Accidentally fell. Looked like almost face first onto the ice. Riptide Black back in the shot. They score. And a nice little snipe. Jamie Call goes to the top shelf. Now making it 3-0 in favor of the Riptide. As they've played just an incredible first period thus far. There's Call going in around the net. Around his own net, rather. As the Xtreme Hockey will barely keep it inside the zone. Here's Kenny. Will put it on net. No rebound given up there from Woods. And it looked like McPhee, very obviously a little jumpy off the draw. But puck dropped regardless as it's in center. Kenny, nice little throw drag to get around McKinnon. Norris will find his way into the zone. Back for Kenny, needs to stay on side. He'll backhand that one lightly into the zone where it's regathered here by Patterson. Patterson of the Riptide Black. Clearing attempt off his skate, doesn't go, as now Dwaron has to be there to back him up. Dwaron steaming through center. What a move. Dwaron in, shot, scores. Marshall Dwaron picking it up at his own blue line, going end to end. And what a nice move going to the top shelf. And give Dwaron his second of the game, now making it 4-0. Xtreme Hockey working down. It's Sampson being tied up in the corner. They look to free it. Looks like the Riptide Black will win possession. There's a dangle through the legs, put to the net. Another backhander trying to get it to the slot. Anthony Bastarash under fire. Here's Call to keeping it at the line. Little toe drag, works momentarily. Although he falls down, loses his stick. It's the Xtreme Hockey that'll put it back down into the zone. Regathered back up by the Riptide. Here's DeRoche. DeRoche to the middle, over for Patterson. Patterson works his way in. It'll go in behind the net. Loose out in front, and it's backhanded out towards the blue line. Patterson with pressure from Kaladkar. And there's a huge hit as Patterson and Kaladkar go down right next to the boards of their bench. Luckily for Patterson, bench is right there. Xtreme Hockey back the other way. Kaladkar on a breakaway, working his way in. Fakes the shot, and he just sent it wide as he falls down and hasn't gone up in the corner. Trying slowly to get up, but there's a 2-on-0 back the other way. Working in, there's the shot, they score. Odin Kaladkar still down in the corner. The Riptide had made it 5-0. And a coach coming onto the ice. And luckily Kaladkar able to make it to the bench on his own accord. Just 10 seconds left to go. Kenny breaking into the zone. Taken away by Callaghan. Callaghan working his way up. Needs to get a shot off quickly. And there's the buzzer to end the period. Make it 5-0 after one. We'll be back for period two here on MST. Spraying the lane from the Uniplex Unisurface in Dieppe, New Brunswick. And welcome back to period two action. Day off the draw. Pushing it through a couple legs. It's back to the defense of the Riptide Black. Moving in behind his own net is Call. Call up. Kenny almost had a chance, but he's stripped of the puck, and the Riptide Black go back the other way. Working out with some speed. Here's Bradley. Cutting in. He's going wide. Puts it to the net. Bastrash turns it away, and it's fired outside the zone. So a good, quick clear for the Xtreme Hockey. Here's Call going in behind the net. Waiting, he goes up, it's redirected off a stick. Shot back. They still battle for it as Stevenson gets it outside the zone. Could be a break. Walking in here, that's Cody all alone, and he scores. That's Sam Cody that found his way all alone And he's going to make no mistake putting that to the back of the net. Xtreme Hockey back to their own end. Kaladkar, glad to see him back on the ice after having a little bit of an injury earlier. And Riptide Black again offside. We're going to try this again. Riptide Black trying to get in on side. Won't be able to this time, though, as they lose the faceoff. Here's Kennedy going in across the boards. Kennedy trying to cut to the middle. It's poke checked. Riptide Black work their way back. There's Bussy holding the line, down on his knees, however. Working in for the Xtreme Hockey, it's Kennedy. Going in and around the net. Taken back by the Xtreme Hockey. Here's Kaladkar in the corner. Working up, trying to get through, and now his pocket's picked, going back the other way. Here's McPhee hitting the brakes, has it in between his feet, but it looked like they were offside. Shot in as here's Dwyer going up against the wall. It's not held in as the Xtreme Hockey head back the other way. Here's a nice move by Norris. Norris in, cuts the shot, and he's denied in. Goal by Woods. Shot in by Kenny. They'll try it again, but this time he'll have to retreat outside the zone. Here's Kenny. Moving his way back in. Working across, here's Callaghan. Callaghan moving up the wing. Has some speed. Emmett Callaghan. He's in, but taken down. Now it's against the boards. Patterson working his way in. He was poke checked. Now gets another try. We'll put it back into the zone. In the slot here, taken away by Patterson. Riptide Black hounding the zone right now. As the Xtreme Hockey, they will look to finally get it out here as Kenny goes through center. Kenny working his way in, cuts to the middle. Here's Cooper Kenny. Poke checked, gets it back. And the Riptide Black will take over. They work up, could be a 3-on-2 as it's brought in by Bradley. He'll pass it off. A good defensive play on the ground there from Button. As now Kenny works his way back up. Speeding back on defense is DeRoche to get back in time. And we have a penalty up and coming to the Xtreme Hockey. So it's going to be a power play for the Riptide. There's a quick shot on net covered by Woods. We'll have another whistle. There's a quick shot on net, paddled away by Woods. And there was no penalty, excuse me. But here comes McPhee speeding in all alone. McPhee, the shot, scores. So again, it's the Riptide Black on the breakaway. They've had the tendency to capitalize on power plays when they've had the opportunity. And here they battle for it in center. Cody with a little poke check. Another shot that almost ends up through center. Morris will throw it off to the side. Regathered here by Dwaron. Dwaron trying to enter the zone. He's in onside as it's cleared back the opposite way. Kenny holding the line, trying to cut in. Poke checked as it's now outside into some neutral ice. McPhee against the board, stopped in by Button. Back into the zone. Cody goes to chase on Kaladkar. Cody intercepts to the middle. Waits, goes to his backhand. Sends it right through the crease. Kaladkar, the little backhander towards the line. Here's Callaghan. Waits, he'll let one go from far. The save. Rebounds loose in the slot, and they score. And again, just good offensive zone possession for the Riptide Black. That was a snipe going to the top shelf. Here's the Riptide Black. Call into the zone. Working in the corner. Here's Dwaron trying to go out in front. It'll be poked loose and go just outside the line. They work back for it as here's it's intercepted. Just losing his balance there was Kennedy as he read that play perfectly. And almost had himself a breakaway. Delayed offside. That'll now be waved off. Here's Kennedy going to find it on open ice. Will Kennedy bringing it in along the left side. The shot will just miss the cage of Woods, not by very much. Riptide Black outside the zone. Olger trying to poke it through as it'll slide into some open ice. Riptide Black at their own hash marks, trying to get it out, blocked in. Here's Flynn going to the net. Woods will pounce on it, and he'll elect to cover. Just under 4.5 minutes to go in this second period of play. And here in the slot, Woods with a nice save. Here the Riptide Black work their way through. Xtreme Hockey, they take over in their own end. Getting down to just 4 minutes left to go in period two. Here's Kenny. Poke check. Ends up going to his teammate. Could be a break. Walking in, going to have to back check quickly, but they're in just offside. What an unfortunate break for the team from Newfoundland. Only team currently in a different time zone, getting close to 3:30. Or it would be 4:30, I believe, excuse me. There's the quick shot redirected by Bastrash and sent away. Stopped in the corner, Button against the boards. Shot back into the zone. Back Pittman, he's fighting in the pile to be shot down. Back by Button, held at the line. Callaghan trying to let one go. It's blocked, it's behind him, he doesn't know where it is. But taken back by the Riptide. Callaghan at the line, trying to hold off a body in between a couple feet as it rattles around. Bit of pinball being played as it's finally cleared out to center. Work it in, it's cleared. Delayed icing, and it looks like it will go. Xtreme hockey in the zone. Here's McPhee trying to cut to the middle. Doesn't work. It's taken back by Kenny. He turns and will fire it against the boards. It'll go outside in the center. Call back in his own end. Up to Bradley. Bradley will turn, send it into some open ice. No delayed icing. As it looks like the Riptide Black are going to get there first regardless. Beck backhanded up to the blue line. Call. Waits, has it, the puck picked off, and now it's a foot race for it. Here's Bradley giving a whack. Here's Kenny all alone. Kenny, the shot turned away by Woods. He's been ever so strong tonight. Here's the Xtreme hockey in the offensive end. Looking to do some damage, walking in. There's the shot. And Woods again able to corral it, and he'll fall down. Secure it. Back in the zone of the Riptide. Moving across is Dwaron. Here's Dwaron turning on the Jets. Dwaron in the zone, giving a bit of a whack. Makes a nice move. Puck trying to get free, and Dwaron stops his own teammates from getting it. So it's now the other way for the Xtreme hockey. Potential 2-on-1 developing. Jefford into the zone. Pokes it by. Day almost got a stick on it. Here's Jefford trying to go to the net. And he was upended now, getting to a minute left in the second period. Riptide, they quickly go back the other way. They're in delayed offside. You're stopped in by the Xtreme hockey defense. They go back the other way. It was Kaladkar that blocked it. Day almost up to get it, but it's the speedy Marshall Dwaron. Then sends it up, tries to headman the puck. And icing at just under 30 seconds to go. Xtreme hockey at the line. Sampson trying to bring it in. Here's Call. Call outside the zone, taken by Bradley. Bradley turning around, getting it up the zone for Call. Less than 10 seconds to go. And it goes all the way down. Just less than a second left to go, and that ends our second period by a score of 8-0. Goal scorers Dwaron twice, Call twice, Cody twice, Perry and McKinnon. Stick around for the third period on MST. It's Brain Lane from the Uniplex, on the Unisurface, in the 2026 East Coast Ice Battle. Now here to start the third period, quickly off the draw. Bolger trying to go up past Call. Stevenson in there as well. Back for Bolger. He has heavy pressure from Stevenson as he tried to get that up to Norris. Here's Bradley working in the zone. Past Kenny. In on Bolger. Out in front, in the crease. It's in between a pair of skates. I believe that was Kenny that didn't know exactly where it was. Could be a break the other way. Here's the speedy Charlie Norris. Charlie Norris in. There's the shot. Saved by Woods as it's redirected into the corner. And delayed icing. Will this get there? Bolger after it. It will not. Here's Bolger. Waiting. He has his pocket picked. It's flipped into the zone here by the Riptide. Coming in behind the net is Sampson. Sampson against the boards. This one will also not have enough, but it's a perfect clear to get into the zone of the Riptide. An ideal chance. Make some changes here for either team. The Riptide breaking through. A nice move from Bradley. Now capturing on his backhand. He might have some room. Here's Bradley in all alone. He fell down. Dax Casey. He's now in the net for the Xtreme hockey as this one goes all the way around the boards. Stopped in. McPhee the shot. Ended up being a pass across to the opposite side. Over for Beck. Looking around, Riptide Black. Kennedy, Flynn, McKinnon now with it. Jack McKinnon skating back to his own end. And here, breakaway, there's the shot, they score. And it looks like we're going to have a conversation to see if we want to go to some straight time. Skating in, McKinnon winding in, still with possession until he was Upended forthwith after soon entering the zone. Working across, it's Dueron. Across on the red line. Getting into the zone, McPhee to the middle, still with possession. There's the shot, deflected wide. Kenny may have just saved a goal, not sure. As it goes up the wall. Held into the zone, Dueron cuts in, might have some room. Here's Dueron in between the legs, trying to get possession now as it's shot just wide. Working out of the zone, Kenny. It'll find its way down the ice. Woods going out to play it. He'll just tap it into the corner. It's now up towards the blue line. Looks like we have a delayed offside, and there it is. Looks like we'll continue with normal stop time. Xtreme hockey into the zone. There's a shot. Woods will make the save. Now sent up as the Riptide work their way back. Could be an odd man rush. Skating up is Stevenson. Stevenson gonna have to stop in the corner. Looks like he had the effort to try a little turnaround shot to the front of the net. Now the Xtreme hockey take over once more. Little poke check as it's taken here by Bradley. Shot towards the net, stopped in. Potential loose puck, and a good play by Kaladkar to send it into the corner, disrupting a chance. Patterson will move it in behind the net. Stopped in by Stevenson. As Kaladkar now with it. Waiting, going against the boards, a couple players stumbling. Bradley trying to get to it. And as we can see from that collision, the ice is slippery here in this one in the neutral zone. Xtreme hockey into the zone. Walking in, Kennedy dropped it behind, caught it back, and then had it quickly taken away. Here's Patterson. Moving up through center, Xander Patterson. Or Stevenson. Rather, excuse me. Xtreme hockey, they get it outside. Goes into neutral ice. Here, walking in was Dueron. Taken out by call, little flip in, and there's the offside call. Just outside the blue line. The face-off will go. Just right adjacent to the Xtreme hockey bench. In to take the draw, Cooper Kenny. And it looks like Mason Woods had some equipment issues. They got that all fixed up easily. Less than 6.5 to go. Xtreme hockey, they'll grab it. Up against the board, Sampson trying to keep possession. Callaghan stopping that. Flynn, he'll boost that one up. Flynn to the net, might have a chance to get it on his backhand, and he couldn't get there in time, so it's flung out to the line. Button, he'll have a drive. That one didn't go on net. Riptide Black get it outside the zone. Taken by Callaghan. Callaghan hits the brakes. Little toe drag. Might need to pass it off, and he does to perfection. What a move there from Emmett Callaghan. Delayed offside. Puck will find its way free back towards the zone of the Riptide Black, where it's backhanded in by Flynn. Bring around, it's Dwaron. Now sending this out of the zone. 5 minutes to go in the third. In a game that has been one-sided thus far. Moving in, Cody. McPhee into the zone. And offside they'll be. Just less than 5 minutes remaining. Bradley trying to find it through center, the Xtreme Hockey. They battle for it. A little bit of friendly fire there in the middle as it's Buzzy. That sends it towards the blue line. Some players going tumbling as it's now squirted out loose to center. Xtreme Hockey through the zone. And an icing infraction. Face off to the right of KZ. Call. Waits. Tried to put it on net, but that one's more or less going to end up in the corner as a dump in. Taken back by the Riptide Black. As they look around, they put it to the middle, where it's intercepted now by the Xtreme Hockey. It'll be taken away by Jefford. Effort to the middle. He was poke checked. Sent back to the defense as a slap shot that's fanned on and brought in by McKinnon. McKinnon all alone pulls it to his forehand and scores. That's now going to make it double digits. It's 10-0 in favor of the Riptide Black. Face-off is one. It's taken on the opposite side. Perry brings it in. Stumbles down to a knee. Caught at the line. Callaghan working his way in. A tie-up for the puck right at the blue line. Turning, putting it back into the zone is DeRoche. Here's Button. Throwing it across. Khaled bringing it through center, and offside. It was probably about half a step. Off the face-off, Riptide Black at the blue line. They bring it out, DeRoche. Waits, Norris. Trying to bring it in. Here's Dwaron, cutting across on that right side like he's done so many times thus far. Xtreme Hockey in their own zone. Button trying a little backhand out of the zone. Pittman looks to the middle. Kaladkar will find it in the corner. Kaladkar around the net on his backhand, protecting the puck, shoving off a man. Here the Riptide Black look to get it off. A shot put to the net. Kaladkar will steer that one away. Riptide Black have it in their zone. It's a delayed offside for the Xtreme Hockey. They're going to try to reset it here. Less than 2 minutes to go. Norris will throw it out to center. Could be a breakaway for DeRoche. Has Kenny with him. DeRoche hits the brakes, but it's Kenny that'll scoop it into the corner. Flipped high, held in. The Riptide Black will bring it back in. They try to work towards the net. There it is, almost free. Turnaround shot, blocked there by Norris. A good defensive play. Sometimes you just gotta love that as a goaltender. The Xtreme Hockey in the neutral zone. Sampson lays that up for Norris. Norris skates in, delayed offside, as we've now reached the last minute of our hockey game here in the third period. Now walking in, here's DeWaron all alone. The shot, save made by Casey as it hit off his mask and behind the net. The rebound in front, another nice save from Casey as they're going to try it again right in the slot. No goal, although big collisions up towards the net. They're still battling for it. Definitely heard a whistle. And here's the first save on the breakaway. Less than 30 to go in the slot. Up to the blue line. Call as it intercepted. Back for Bradley at the blue line. Bradley curling back to his own end. Less than 20 to go. Bradley working across. Here's Cody. Cody bringing it up. He's blocked the shot. Save the rebound. They score. That'll end the game. Buzzer went off before, or after the goal, excuse me, so that'll finish 11-0, a huge win for the Riptide Black. Braden Lane from the Dieppe Uniplex Unisurface, Dieppe, New Brunswick. More action for the 2026 East Coast Ice Battle coming your way. Stick around for our Player of the Game ceremonies.